Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Usability podcast. It's been a few weeks since we've came to you all, but we're excited to be back. This week, we're going to dive into personas and their use and effectiveness in user-centered design. Coming into the unit this week, I understood personas as a mostly agreed upon method for creating content. However, the readings this week shed light on the ever-evolving debate on personas. Starting off, we should take the same approach to fixing mental errors as we do physical errors, thus looking into the design of things to better pair with human actions. Likewise, designers and people alike begin to blame the error on the person or failing to understand the instructions properly. Altogether, the error always gets pushed onto the person and not the inherent design. This approach ceases to take usability into an account and hold designers accountable for user-integrated inferences. In connection to Norman's analysis, he explains how the central problem that caused the error is never found, instead circling around human error and ending the search without diving deeper. Likewise, this leads into using the 5 whys to investigate a context. Norman explains it by stating that, basically, it means that when searching for the reason, even after you found one, do not stop. Ask yourself why that was the case, and then ask why again. This approach to gaining a full understanding of a problem connects to user design in the beginning of a project, and not just an aspect fails. Norman echoes this sentiment, illustrating how human-centered design is the process of ensuring that people's needs are met, that the resulting product is understandable and usable, that it accomplishes the desired task, and that the experience of use is positive and enjoyable. User interest should drive a large part of design. For this reason, engineers and designers should put it upon themselves to gather as much research as possible on the end user. This will curtail their design choices, molding the deliverable into a product that limits any type of functional or user error. The design of everyday things labels this method of thinking as solving the correct problem. When one needs a solution, the real problems should be fully understood before even the slightest solution is attempted. I connected this approach to the ideal use of personas. Although there are many debates on the validity and effectiveness of personas, their theoretical use resembles that of solving the correct problem methodology. Personas should be created and supported by numerous studies and user interactions. User actions should be studied closely, looking for their needs and potential problems. This collection of data resembles that of using the 5 whys to investigate a context or not stopping until the root problem is found. Designers must find the key needs of the user to create meaningful personas that thus inspire deliverables. However, personas are not as simple and impactful as theory makes them out to be. The mere nature of their applicability becomes questioned under realistic situations. Some practitioners stand by their use of them, noting that they are a hypothetical archetype of an actual user, describing that person's goals, aptitudes, and interests. In turn, supporters of personas cite their tool to be used during the design and development of technology to avoid the problem of designers, developers, and stakeholders invoking their elastic use, who can be sent and stretched to suit the needs of the invoker. Declarations like these from the "How do designers and user experience professionals actually perceive and use persona" studies illuminates a strong pro-persona side to the debate. However, with the same study, as well as in the Persona's New Clothes, methodological and practical arguments against a popular method, equally as valid concerns raised against the use of personas. In How do designers and user experience professionals actually perceive and use personas, it was found that words such as abstract, impersonal, mislead, and distract are associated with personas by industry practitioners. This negative connotation grows from the lack of detail and concrete data that goes into creating a persona. Even if certain qualities are accounted for, it is extremely difficult to measure how the qualities interact and which ones impact design choices. Moreover, personas provide a number of limitations, including only portraying a snapshot of the user. This snapshot fails to touch on the dimensionality of the user, since one cannot use scattered data points to assemble a composite description with any known relationship to a population. This analysis from the Persona's New Clothes touches on the fluidity of the user, as well as touches back on the point that there is no average user. The combination of user needs into a single entity by nature leaves out important information that designers miss. Moreover, even the validity of personas is hard to test in reality, considering that widespread data collection and comparison proves as too large of an undertaking to test a persona against reality. Moving along on the usage of personas in industry, I became interested in practitioners' response to how they use personas in their workflow. The study, How do designers and user experience professionals actually perceive and use personas, found that practitioners utilize personas in a communication-based way instead of using it for their actual design. I see this as using a persona as a common understanding of a target audience. So when you are communicating with team members, the expectations and viewpoints are the same. I can see how this tries to eliminate personal input from the design, focusing on the user's needs instead. The persona does not stand at the forefront of the creator's mind while actually designing the deliverable. I was quite surprised at this finding, but felt comforted in the fact that I do not keep a persona constantly in mind while writing my manuals. Whether this is a positive or negative thing is up to debate, as I am curious if it would be a good thing to try and do. Just like personas themselves, it might seem correct in theory, but not as accurate in reality. Furthermore, I see personas used in company communication many times, including in large events and small project meetings. A few months ago, there was a company-wide communications meeting. Our company leaders explained aspects to us in terms of our core users. I find this term to relate to personas, since they are researched categories of users that our products always are trying to reach. I think it is extra beneficial that designers and project managers go out into the field of these core users and collect first-hand feedback as well. This method seems to take personas one step further in gaining actual user-based feedback and ideas. For example, I am working on a tool that eliminates a certain feature that most other competitors have. It was found through on-site user interaction that this specific feature actually hinders their work and gets in the way. The field teams brought this information back to engineers, and now 2 versions of the tool are being created to address this problem. I think it's beneficial to take theories mentioned in these studies and extrapolate them out into the real world. Like in the case of personas, it shows the benefits and negatives of an approach. Personas elevate the end user in the design process. However, one needs to be cognizant of their drawbacks while using one. Working to mitigate these shortcomings will in turn provide a more in-depth understanding of the root problems users truly face. Once these are found and understood, designing can begin. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in this week, and I hope that you can catch the Usability podcast in 2 weeks again. Enjoy your day!